Fred Okengo Matiang'i, known as the Bulldozer, is one of Kenya's most powerful and talked about leaders. His journey from a barefoot village boy in Nyamira County to a towering figure in Kenyan politics is a story of resilience, ambition, and bold leadership. Born on April 22nd of 1968 in Borabu, Nyamira County, Fred was the youngest in a Gusii family of 8. Life in the rural Kisii Highland was simple but demanding. His days were filled with chores like herding cattle and fetching water. But even as a child, Fred had unquenchable curiosity. He would often sneak away to read under a shade of tree, dreaming of a life beyond the village. At Nyansabakwa Primary School, Fred's sharp mind and determination set him apart. Despite walking long distances barefoot, he consistently ranked among the top students. His teachers often described him as a problem solver, always asking questions and finding clever ways to tackle challenges. This drive earned him a place at Kenyatta University, where he studied education. There, he became a vocal student leader, unafraid to stand up for what he believed was right. Later, he pursued a master's degree and a PhD in English and comparative literature at the University of Nairobi, solidifying his reputation as a scholar and thinker. Fred's career began in academia, where he worked as a university lecturer. His passion for teaching and communication shone through, and he quickly became known for his ability to inspire students. But Fred's ambitions stretched beyond the classroom. He took on consulting roles with well-established organizations like the World Bank and the United Nations, gaining valuable experience in governance and policy making. These early experiences would later shape his no-nonsense approach to leadership. In 2013, Fred's life took a dramatic turn when President Uhuru Kenyatta appointed him as the Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and Technology (ICT). At the time, Kenya's ICT sector was in chaos, particularly with the failed transition from analog to digital television. Fred stepped into the role with a clear mission to modernize Kenya's digital infrastructure. But the task was far from easy. Powerful media owners and political players resisted the changes, creating a storm of opposition. Fred, however, refusing to back down, Kenya must move forward. We cannot remain behind to the rest of the world, he declared during a heated press briefing. His determination earned him the nickname, the Enforcer.
ICT is going to be a critical enabler. And the philosophy behind this is that we intend that in the entirety of our public service spectrum, ICT becomes the underpinning framework and the underpinning infrastructure for the provision of services across the board. Now, to do this, we are addressing all facets of it. Through policy, it's good for us to address the infrastructure and the demand side of this. But we also need to address the supply side of it, namely develop the requisite skills of our people to be able to not only come up with solutions, but also use ICTs.
Under his leadership, Kenya's ICT sector flourished. Internet access expanded and e-government platforms were introduced, laying a groundwork for Kenya's reputation as a hub for innovation in Africa. Fred's ability to cut through bureaucratic red tape and deliver results caught the attention of many, including the president.
Where is the teacher? Director?
For this class.
Yeah, where is the teacher?
He is in the staff.
In the staff room. And the students are here to be taught.
In 2015, Fred was moved to the Ministry of Education, a role that will define his legacy. The education system was in crisis, burdened by rampant cheating in national exams. Cartels leaked exams for profit, eroding trust in the system and undermining the credibility of Kenyan certificates. Fred launched a comprehensive crackdown, introducing strict measures like real-time surveillance of exam centers, tighter security for exam papers, and reducing the number of people involved in the administration process. He even installed CCTV cameras in exam storage centers to monitor every step of the process.
The money is lost somewhere because the money is not in Jogo House. We have dispersed the money and the books are not in the school. So the money is somewhere in between. And that in between is where we must now remove that in between.
Fred's hands-on approach became legendary. He would personally inspect schools across the country, often arriving unannounced as early as 5 a.m. to ensure compliance. His unexpected visits kept school administrators on their toes, and his commitment to restoring integrity was unwavering. The results were immediate. In 2016, KCSE results saw a dramatic drop in top scores, a clear sign that cheating had been curbed. While some criticized his methods as too harsh, many applauded his efforts to restore credibility to the education system. For the first time in years, Kenyans began to trust exam results again.
Only a third of the students who wrote the exam last year, only a third have attained university entry qualifications. That is about 31.52%. Whereas this is an improvement on 2014's 30.78%, we could still do better. And of course, this data begs several questions, and we need to answer these questions collectively. One, has it got to do with our curriculum? Because if you look at that performance, if you put in kids in Form 1 and only 1/3 of those attain university qualifications, that is a minimum of a C+, there are issues that we then need to address.
In 2017, Fred's career took another dramatic turn when he was appointed Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government following the sudden death of Joseph Kaiseri. This was arguably the most challenging role in the country, requiring nerves of steel. Fred stepped into the position during a volatile period, just as Kenya was coping with the aftermath of the disputed presidential election. Protests and tensions were high, and the country was on the edge.
Sisi hatupendangi mambo ya upuzi kubebana hivi, kazi lazima ifanywe. Sababu tulipewa kazi tufanye, na mheshimiwa rais wetu ametupea kazi tufanye. Kama nchi inatawaliwa na inalindwa kama boma inalindwa. Boma ina mtu wa kuongoza mmoja. Kuna mtu hapa ako na familia ambayo inaongozwa na wazee wawili? Hapana, familia inaongozwa na mzee mmoja. Sisi tunafanyia Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta kazi, ndio rais wetu. Na rais akituamulisha vile kazi inafanywa, mimi na Kibicho tutafanya hiyo kazi vile rais ametuamulisha tufanye hiyo kazi. Na nataka kuomba viongozi wetu wale ambao mko hapa wanasiasa, tafadhali wafanyakazi wa serikali wale ambao wako hapa, police commanders, regional commissioners, hao wote ambao nimewataja hapa, tuheshimu wafanyakazi wa serikali kwa sababu tumepewa kazi ya kufanya sisi, si watu wa siasa.
Fred responded with a firm hand. He imposed curfews, deployed police to hotspots, and ensured the protection of critical infrastructure. His tough on crime approach earned him the nickname the Bulldozer. He launched crackdowns on criminal gangs, oversaw high-profile deportations of individuals accused of money laundering and drug trafficking, and reined in counterfeit goods flooding Kenyan markets. One of the most dramatic moments in his tenure came in 2018 when he personally led a raid in a warehouse stocked with counterfeit products worth of billions of shillings. With cameras rolling, Fred declared, "This is a warning to all those engaging in illegal trade. Your days are numbered." But Fred's leadership style was not without controversy. Critics accused him of being authoritarian, particularly during protests. In 2018, he ordered the shutdown of major TV stations, Citizen TV, NTV, and KTN News during the mock swearing-in of opposition leader Raila Odinga as the people's president. The move sparked outrage, with media houses and journalists accusing him of attacking press freedom. Fred defended his actions, citing national security concerns, but the incident left a strain on his reputation. Another aggressive moment came with the deportation of opposition figure Miguna. Despite court orders demanding Miguna's release, Fred oversaw his deportation to Canada, a move that drew widespread condemnation. The courts later found Fred in contempt, fining him and other officials for defying judicial orders. Critics accused him of abusing his power to silence opposition voices, while supporters argued that he was simply maintaining order in a politically charged environment.
Anyone else who doesn't want to comply, wakwende. That is it. After the COVID-19 pandemic, now the new pandemic we are dealing with is the pandemic of lies. Yeah. It's the pandemic of lies. You know, people stand up and they say things that they think make sense. You know, I've been looking at politicians, and fortunately, I have the opportunity of having served in cabinet. I know how a budget is drawn, and I know how much money we have in our resources to draw a budget. When a political leader, a national leader tells people, I will put aside 150 billion for market women, I'll put aside 50 billion for boda boda, I'll put aside 100 billion for this. I know how much our budget is and the projected growth of our budget. That time you have not talked about the amount of money that you are taking to counties, you have not talked about transfers for the education sector and so on. Where are you going to get that money to provide that kind of service? You're just lying to those people because you are telling them things they want to hear. And because they won't ask you questions, you just get along with it.
Despite the controversies, Fred's influence continued to grow. At one point, he was entrusted with overseeing the coordination of all government projects, further solidifying his position as one of the most powerful figures in Uhuru's Jubilee administration. His ability to deliver results, even in the face of fierce opposition, made him a force to be reckoned with. As of 2025, Fred Matiang'i remains a key figure in Kenyan politics. He has worked with both the Jubilee Party and the Azimio la Umoja coalition, and recently a member of the United Progressive Alliance (UPA), showing his ability to navigate complex political landscapes.
Lavu niambie sasa nisikuja hapa nisiseme maneno eti nione haya eti mwambie CS Matiang'i hawachane asizungumze maneno hiyo ya Raila na handshake kwendeni. Lazima tufahamu vile mambo iko. Let's be very honest. We stop this hypocrisy and pretense here. Tunajifanya hapa. There are things that we can talk about and there are things we cannot talk about. Sisi tukiwa Nyanza hapa, we are one na tumekuwa pamoja siku zote. We are one people. Ama namna gani? Kwetu ni hapa juu. Na ndipo tumeongea pia na tuliongea vizuri sana. Tumekubaliana sisi wote. Na mzee wetu Prime Minister Raila Odinga ndiye anatuongoza. Na tumekubaliana safari hii sisi watu wa Nyanza tutasimama pamoja kama mtu mmoja. Na tutasimama sisi wote pamoja. Sasa nikisema hivyo nimefanya makosa. Na mimi si cha kuuliza wewe ruhusa, unipee ruhusa mimi nisimame pamoja na Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Si cha kuuliza ruhusa, unipee ruhusa nisimame na Mheshimiwa Rais. Mheshimiwa Rais is my boss. Ndiye amenipea kazi nifanye, akiamuru vile tunaenda. It is logical mimi nikiwa waziri wake wa usalama. Mimi napiga laini mahali rais amepiga laini ama namna gani? Hapana. Tufanye kazi. There is a way in which a country is led. Tusisikize hii maneno. Hawa watu mambo mdomo tu kila siku huku kelele kusunguka, hakuna kazi. Walikuwa wapi wakati tulikuwa hapa? Sasa watu wanaanza kujifanya hapa. Mimi nimemletea ile, nikamletea ile ingine. Ile poti ilikuwa huko. Wale watu niliona wakati ile poti ilianza kujengwa walikuwa Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta na Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Tukiwa pale kuamuru tuanze kazi. Na hiyo poti imetengeneza ikakuwa. Sasa watu wameanza ni msunguko tu. Mtu karibu sasa waanze kusema unajua mimi hata hawa watoto wenu mimi ndio nimewazalia. Ai.
Many believe he is preparing to run for president in 2027, leveraging his reputation for efficiency and decisive leadership. Supporters argue that his disciplined, action-oriented style is exactly what Kenya needs, while critics worry about his authoritarian tendencies. Beyond politics, Fred is a devoted family man. He's married to Margaret Matiang'i, a teacher, and the couple has 2 children. Despite his demanding schedule, Fred values his quiet moments at home and is a devoted Christian who believes in the power of prayer. Those who know him on a personal level describe him as humble and dedicated, the opposite of his tough public image. Fred Matiang'i's journey from a village boy in Borabu to one of Kenya's most influential leaders is nothing short of remarkable. Whether admired for his reforms or criticized for his methods, there is no denial on his impact on Kenya. His story is a testament to the power of determination, hard work, and bold leadership. As the next chapter of his life unfolds, one thing is certain: Fred Matiang'i is a name that will be remembered in Kenya's history for years to come. Let's wait to see what unfolds next.